The burial is dying, and I don't just mean the declining viewership of my barely put-together channel. No, I'm actually quite ill. Quite ill! I'm at home today. I went swimming in the sea on an unexpectedly cold day for the summer last week, and now I have a summer head cold. And while I could easily go to work, I don't want to, so here I am. So I sat down, I put the TV on. WWE SummerSlam 2026. I probably wasn't going to bother watching it anytime soon, but since I'm ill and got nothing to do, why not? Before we review the show and chat about the matches, I just want to note that Triple Nose recently said he had the gall to say that he wanted fans to get immersed in the wrestlers as characters and not analyze them as poorly written performers. Normally I'd agree with this sentiment. A show like this, good or bad, is more fun to watch if you just watch it as the story unfolding. The problem is, Triple Nose is the main star of WWE Unreal, which highlights the writing of the wrestlers non-stop. You can't have it both ways. You know, he couldn't have Chyna and Stephanie McMahon, so he picked Stephanie McMahon, and they obliterated Chyna's life. This is the same kind of thing. You can only have it one or the other way. You can obliterate WWE Unreal and hope fans just go back to watching shows normally. Fair enough. Good idea. Or you can run both shows, make a bit more money since there's two shows on, and just kind of accept that fans, and anyone who watches these shows, has the basic human right to have their own opinions on it. Good or bad, right? It's an opinion. It means nothing. It's not right or wrong. Everyone's entitled to one. Everyone. So, night one. Apparently it's been over 100 days since WrestleMania 42, and in that time, Liv Morgan has not defended this belt of hers once. Stephanie Vacation is injured, unfortunately. She's been out for a while, and apparently that really dampened whatever plans they had for Morgan's title run originally. But you gotta roll with the punches. There's loads of women on the show. What, no one else can get a defense until SummerSlam? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, Iyo Sky was challenging here because she beat Morgan at King of the Ring the other week, month, whatever. So since Sky beat Morgan in the finals, we already know this is Morgan getting her win back before the match even starts. You probably knew it the moment the match was announced at King of the Ring. Anyways, Morgan's music hits. Taboo, taboo, that's me. It's pathetic. More auto-tuned than T-Pain's song. It's cancer to the ears. I was actually glad I have blocked ears today, for the first time. Anyway, the match itself actually wasn't that bad. I'm not going to rag on it. I thought Iyo Sky did an exceptional job in carrying Div Morgan and her delightful ass through a passable heel versus face title match. Not too many death by landing on head spots from Sky here. She's like the women's Kota Ibushi, obviously. But this all devolved into a very predictable heel shenanigans. Liv Morgan and her trusty, worthless henchwomen that no one cares about came out to help her. These henchwomen who humiliated John Cena last year and now mean nothing. I don't care if one of them has a nothing second-tier belt. Anyways, Morgan won with her highly contrived Oblivion finisher, the first of which, I don't know if Iyo Sky was trying to sell it or sell the idea she'd cartwheeled out of it, and Michael Cole on commentary claimed Iyo Sky just wasn't affected by it, so he just buried Morgan's finisher completely. And get used to some truly awful commentary on this show from Michael Doltz. And next up, Solo Sikoa is the best babyface in the WWE right now. He hasn't been a face for that long, but in that time he showed humor, poise, and ability to connect with fans. He's charismatic. And here was no different, as the story revolved around him earning LA Knight's trust as they took on the Usos and Jacob Fatu, who for some reason came out advertising some Gears of War game. I can't believe Gears of War is still a thing. And you know, traditionally it's the babyfaces who will come out and promote the crap. Here it was actually good they didn't, because those three babyfaces are all pretty good, and anyone who comes out dressed for Gears of War is gonna look lame and larpy, only for the fact that the Usos and Jacob Fatu didn't even really dress for Gears of War, unless that plastic, could have ordered it on Amazon mask Jacob Fatu was wearing is some reference to the games, I don't know. The build to this match on the weekly shows was pretty good, mostly, bar that never-ending promo between Jimmy Uso and Powerhouse Hobbs the other week. But the match itself, someone backstage, the agent, had put together a logical six-man tag match. But for some reason on the night, no one could keep it together. This match felt like it was one slip away from being a disaster, every step of the way. Convoluted, cumbersome, mistimed. About half the match seemed to be Powerhouse Hobbs trying to get Jimmy Uso off the turnbuckle for some kind of middle rope slam that didn't look too good. The shining light here, as I said earlier, was babyface Sikoa doing his own stupid run-it-back thing of Jey Uso's song, but this time it was actually funny because it was a parody of that insufferable cringe slop that Jey Uso subjects us to every week. The Red Team won to advance this story. So on a storytelling point, and for character work, this was actually a pretty good match. For an actual match, though, look elsewhere if work rate is what really matters to you. Gunther tapped out Nick Aldis, who became the 10,000th British wrestler to try and use Oasis as an entrance theme for a big match. Fans chanted, "You still got it," at Aldis, who, far as I'm aware, is not even 40 yet. He's younger than all four of the men in world title matches over this weekend. And he's getting "You Still Got It" chants from people who've probably never even watched his truly awful work in TNA or his pretty good work in early NWA. And by that I of course mean early NWA Power. I don't mean early 1940s NWA. You just know there'll be some smartass in the comments who says I did. This was basically a rerun of that time Gunther wrestled Shat McAfee. It was pretty much the exact same story, it's just that Nick Aldis can actually wrestle, unlike McAfee, so it was quite a bit better. Unfortunately, though, while Aldis clearly still hits the weights in the gym, he didn't get into that whole cardio thing for this match. Gassed a minute in, recovers, and then gassed for the closing stretch, during which he tapped out. I really think with this story, it wouldn't have killed them to just let him get pinned or pass out in a sleeper hold, but no, he becomes Gunther's bitch boy. The latest one. For a guy who pointlessly got to end 3 different big names' careers over the past year, only to do absolutely nothing with those accolades beyond lose at the Royal Rumble, and as we'll see later on in this show, lose in a WWE title contenders match. Because while Triple Nose loves Gunther, it's quite clear that the audience, they don't hate him, but he's just not that interesting. Let's be real. His personality is lacking, it's basic. His matches are all the same. It's the same formula, the stiff chop, the being rude to someone's family at ringside, the poorly applied sleeper hold. Rinse and repeat. Fatal channel change beat Paige and the Bella Twins, yet I don't care about the match. What happened afterwards was the big thing, as Nikki Bella turned on Paige. Oh no! Classic betrayal after the lost stuff. Oh. Nikki Bella seemed to be complaining about Paige taking her spot in that nasally Valley Girl voice of hers, which makes no sense. That would imply it's Paige's fault Nikki Bella got injured. And unless that's the big plot twist this week on Raw or SmackDown, whichever show these idiots are on, I don't think it's going to be brought up again. Pointless. And Michael Dolt, are we sure he was not a diversity hire to represent retards? Seriously says, "These 3 were as close as sisters at one time. 2 of them are sisters. Twin sisters. Identical twin sisters. You're an idiot." Michael Cole, that is, not you listening. I understand it's important to sell these angles as a big deal. It's the commentator's job. But actually know what the hell you're saying. It's live TV. This guy's a moron. I don't remember Jim Ross, even at his most senile, in AEW in recent years, ever, being this unbelievably stupid. Next up, 30 minutes of my life went by, and it felt like 30 years of CM Punk with that creepy dog paw tattoo from that dog he clearly loved too much, frankly. Probably because AJ Lee just wouldn't give the poor man a child. Retained his WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes. Now, CM Punk winning is the right call. That is not why I'm criticizing this match. Anything less than CM Punk retaining would have been proof Triple Nose is mentally unstable and not fit for purpose. It's just that the match itself sucked. Again, kinda like the 6-man tag earlier. On paper, you could tell backstage these 2 and maybe a road agent, they'd put together a logical match with storytelling beats they wanted to tell and a pace they were going to build up over time. Good. Nice. They just couldn't physically carry it off. And when I say they, I actually primarily mean Punk himself, with possibly the worst moonsault of all time during the match. Crooked moonsault Punk indeed. He had the spinning granny high elbow, and he gets on the top rope, but he doesn't have that perfectly still elbow drop position on the way down like Randy Savage or Shawn Michaels used to. His arm flails in fear on the way down because he doesn't belong on the top rope. He nearly Benoit'd his own brains on the announce table spot where he dove through it. Granted, that looked good to us as viewers, entertainment-wise, but you could tell that was not the planned way for him to splat into concrete beyond that table. And you had the crowd heat. This was the strange part. WWE have been pushing and peddling this idea of CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes being a huge dream match for years now, pretty much ever since Punk came back to the WWE. And at different points, fans seemed very excited about the idea of this match happening. But finally, when it was on the cards this year, the build-up, no one cared. The writing, abysmal. No stakes, no urgency, no heat. Just Cody Rhodes' latest, "My friends have betrayed me" storyline. Every single time, Cody is friends with these people. He loves them, alright? And then they go and stab him in the back. Every time. He's worse than Sting or Becky Lynch when she was a babyface. Constant betrayal angles. It's just incredibly uncreative, right? Maybe one or two of them were entertaining once upon a time, you know? And for some reason, because one or two of them were moderately well received. Maybe that time Brock Lesnar was seemingly Rhodes' friend and then beat him to hell, right? It got some fan interest, so Triple Nose just decided every Cody Rhodes angle has to be that. He has to be friends with the wrestler, he has to respect them, and then somehow they just let poor Cody down, intentionally or not. Anyways, Charles Robinson is 62 now, he's still taking the big ref bumps, that's kinda cool. Cody Rhodes goes up to the top rope for his little Cody cutter that frankly... And this is not a pro-AEW propaganda thing, that promotion has many problems of its own, but frankly, Cody Rhodes' cutter isn't even half as good as Will Ospreay's flying cutter. It's not even close. One bit of attention to detail here, though, I really liked from Cody Rhodes, and this is a veteran's mindset in the ring to have this attention to detail. It was really neat. He goes up to the top rope to do his Cody cutter thing. CM Punk gets out of the way, and Rhodes, he's going back to do the move. He realizes the ref's there. So he doesn't actually go for the full cutter. He's not going to hit Charles Robinson with the Cody cutter. But it's too late with the momentum, so he just clatters into him. It's almost like an uppercut and just knocks him down that way. It was way more plausible, it was way more gripping to watch than if he just randomly hit this perfectly rehearsed move on the referee. So there's a positive for this match. Rhodes actually, nice attention to detail, nice presence of mind in the ring. Anyways, with Robinson down, Randy Orton returned to remind us of the worst WrestleMania title feud of all time earlier this year, where Orton was randomly, the prison yard boyfriend of Shat McAfee for a few weeks. Orton hits Rhodes with the RKO. I assumed they were going to treat that WrestleMania feud the way they treat Chris Benoit, or the way they treated China for many years, but apparently no, we're going back to it. All because Cody Rhodes does not believe in jobbing cleanly, even to a star bigger than himself, like CM Punk. Apparently. He can't even job at SummerSlam once. And to put that in perspective for you, John Cena used to be called Super Cena because he almost never lost during his big run on top. So, Super Cena would job clean once or twice a year, usually at big events, even with that. WrestleMania 28, The Rock beats him clean. SummerSlam 2013, Daniel Bryan beats him clean. SummerSlam 2014, Brock Lesnar squashes him. There are many other such examples. Even Super Cena would do the proper job from time to time if it called for it. And yet Cody Rhodes can't do the job once to CM Punk, who has clearly been positioned as the main face of SmackDown moving forwards. He's the WWE champion. This will likely be his last big run on top given his age and wear and tear and that moonsault we saw him do. And no, he needs help from Randy Orton, and at that point you have to ask, who is the heel in this match? So I was saying there wasn't much heat until the closing stretch. A big problem there is that a lot of fans have turned on Cody Rhodes, but not in a comical way. They're not booing him to hell like Roman Reigns in 2017. They're just kind of snidely tired of the whole Rhodes always in the title picture thing. Rhodes is still clearly, in storyline, meant to be the face. He's the wronged man in this angle. But CM Punk is not a heel. He won the title cleanly. Sure, Sami Zayn didn't get much notice for wrestling him, but he beat Sami Zayn fairly in the ring. He hasn't done anything wrong in taking an opportunity that was given to him. And Randy Orton, meanwhile, is clearly meant to be a heel, but at this point in his career, fans are nearly always going to cheer him. So him as a heel doesn't really work. So none of this angle really works, because a babyface CM Punk has beaten a babyface Cody Rhodes who fans are tired of, because a heel Randy Orton helped him win. But Punk is still a face, and fans still treat Randy Orton like a face. It's perplexing. That's what it is. It's perplexing. Dreadful. So the match wasn't great. It could have done with having 10 minutes of it chopped off and just focusing on that closing stretch earlier. Very disappointing, especially for people who've been looking forward to this match for a few years now. I was not one of them. Because frankly, it is sad that WWE's idea of a dream match is two former AEW guys playing with each other. Now, main event. It's in Minnesota, so Big Brock gets to go on last for what presumably is actually his final match ever, although who knows after what happened after WrestleMania. Oba Femi beats him. So at WrestleMania, Oba Femi squashed Brock Lesnar. And he was the talk of the town straight after. WWE might have accidentally stumbled into having a Goldberg-level star right there, in the sense that he seemed like this unbeatable beast who'd struck a chord with audiences. Had Femi just moved on, won the King of the Ring, beaten one of the world champs at SummerSlam, you probably have your next huge star right there, someone that fans are really interested in seeing continue to grow. Instead, Lesnar came back. His first retirement was a fake. He demolishes Oba Femi in a rematch. Femi still wins King of the Ring, but then he's an idiot, because he decides he'd rather play with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam than get a world title match. So here, Oba Femi is still over, but he no longer has that special quality that was surrounding him straight after WrestleMania. Now it just feels like another tired, drawn-out feud, because nothing can just end when it's hot. It has to end when it's in the freezer. Hell in a Cell match, pointless gimmick to attach to this. They barely use the cell. The match goes for 10 minutes. And Lesnar basically is a weakling, according to this match, constantly hitting Oba Femi with the once devastating F5. It's not that Femi's kicking out, it's that he's getting up the moment he's been hit with it. Cool moment, only cool moment in the match, frankly. Lesnar rips up the ring. He's probably tired of having all these ads on the ring for his final match. Ads that are gonna make it look dated a year from now. So the wood underneath is exposed and he hits the big tombstone on Oba Femi, a nice little nod to The Undertaker, his career rival, with whom he had 2 excellent Hell in a Cell matches, much better than this one. Oba Femi survives that as well, so Oba Femi will not be allowed to kick out of anything moving forwards. And then he beats Lesnar with a quick powerbomb, but not on the wood, because Brock Lesnar is not a stupid mark. He is not going to break his back for this company. No, it's straight back on the intact part of the ring. Yes, this was the latest and hopefully final time we get the Brock almost retires, comes back for more F5s, then actually passes the torch. Or does he? Arc. Every single arc with this guy this decade. Fantastic wrestler in his day, but I think it's time for Polish Joe to go home. It's safe to say that the White Boy Summer is over. So night 2, Sami Zayn is a babyface as far as I'm concerned. I can't stand him. He's dreadful. But in kayfabe, how was he not a babyface? He says he was unfairly screwed with the CM Punk match. He kind of was. How could he prepare for an opponent he had no idea was in the building? Nick Aldis then gives him this one-on-one match with Finn Balor to be number 1 contender for the big belt. Okay, that's cool. Then, as the match is getting ready, Nick Aldis actually reveals that Gunther is now his pal, and he's sending him into the match, triple threat. But wait, there's more. Kevin Owens is back, and apparently they don't have beard dye in Quebec. This bad boy is a fatal 4-way, so Sami Zayn has been screwed. Again. He's not crazy, he's not unreasonable, he's genuinely getting screwed all the time in these storylines. Make it make sense. Michael Dolt struck again. Zayn and Owens have this big hug, because all the men have to hug on these shows. These shirtless men have to press their sweaty bodies against each other. I mean, thankfully Kevin Owens does wear a shirt, but not everyone else does. I'm getting tired of it. What happened to the good old handshake? In fact, what happened to not being friends? This is meant to be a show about people fake fighting. Fighting! Not friendship, it's the reverse. It's enemies. It's competition. And Michael Dolt again, he's, oh, these two have been best friends their whole careers. It's not even true. In real life it's probably true. I think they are meant to be genuinely pals, these two. On TV, they're friends and enemies. They're fallings out and feuds all the time. In fact, just last year, Kevin Owens tries to break Sami Zayn's neck. Sami Zayn admits he went to Kevin Owens' family home, seemingly implying he had homicidal urges towards Owens. Owens then obliterates him in a pretty good hardcore plunder match at last year's Elimination Chamber show. Owens goes on hiatus because of his neck problems. Zayn missed WrestleMania completely last year, selling the savage beating Owens had given him. These two are not friends anymore. They have tried to end each other's careers. Zayn may well have turned up at Owens' house to shoot him, for all we know. But now they're pals. Oh, Kev, I know you destroyed my neck, you cost me a WrestleMania, you drove me insane, you've turned on me about 600 times now, but you had some surgery and a year off. Bring it in, buddy. I love you. Oh, the match itself actually wasn't that bad, just to be clear. I mean, it's four wrestlers who can put a decent match together, you would think. Yeah, this is good. It's fast-paced. It's good action. It's pretty predictable Owens was winning, but that's okay. Fans are happy to see him after such a long layoff. Punk versus Owens, that will be the future WWE title feud, I guess. I can't wait for their beef to revolve around stuff from Ring of Honor 20 plus years ago that no one else cares about. It's going to be a rerun of CM Punk's feud with Eddie Kingston in AEW. Less good on the mic, but much better in the ring, because Kevin Owens can actually wrestle, something Eddie Kingston cannot. And for the burial, the next match was WWE 9/11. It's truly made me sick to my stomach. A few years ago, I put up a video, I think it's still on unless it got copyrighted, about Baron Corbin. It was when he got dropped from WWE the first time. And in the video I explained that while Baron Corbin was not necessarily world title material, explained, who am I kidding? I opined that while he was not world title material, he was a very strong mid-card hand. He could slot into a variety of different character things, gimmicks, he could put people over, he has a nice repertoire of wrestling moves. Basically a solid hand. Worth keeping around. That was what I said. And unfortunately on this day, and I hate doing this, I have to admit, I was wrong. If I was a newspaper, I would print a retraction. This match with Trick Williams was pure unfiltered ass. Trick Williams is super charismatic, he's funny, he's cool. He's got a distinctive persona and presence. Fans like him, he gets big reactions. He could really go places if he learns how to put a match together. It's a shame that in all that time in NXT and TNA no one ever showed him how to, but anyway. Williams is US champ. Fans are enjoying his work, even with that weird teddy bear gingerbread man, whatever it was, that thing with Sami Zayn a few months ago. Even with that, still getting good reactions, even with Little Yachty, who I'm not convinced is even a real rapper at this point. By his side all the time. Because you know, if Little Yachty was that popular, how does he have the time to be Trick Williams' errand boy every week? Answer me that question. Anyways, this should be an easy win for Trick Williams, you would think. There's a Carmelo Hayes feud right there that could actually be entertaining. We know from NXT that Williams and Hayes gel very nicely together as a pair. And middle-aged Baron Corbin. He's starting to look like what would happen if Private Pyle from Full Metal Jacket had got on Ozempic instead of shooting himself halfway through the film. Spoiler alert from a film from the 80s. Beats Trick Williams. Right, so Baron Corbin, frankly, he's not a big enough name for this to be a huge deal if Williams had won. But at least Williams gets a title defense on a big pay-per-view, right? That's something. But no, he loses to Baron Corbin, and the crowd goes mild. And who can blame them? This sucks. Corbin out here looking like the mole rat from Kim Possible got into tattoos. Beats one of the WWE's most promising rising stars. And Michael Cole again, this guy. Fire him. I don't care if that sounds horrible. It's insulting. There are so many people out there who could commentate better than this. Vic Joseph, just give him the main show spots, honestly. Michael Cole says, right, so Trick Williams and Baron Corbin, they were outside of the ring, both of them, at one point in the match. And Trick Williams is setting up a table. I don't think this match was no DQ, so that made no sense. Baron Corbin's also outside. He's, discombobulated on the ringside mat. Michael Cole mentions the champion's advantage, that being that if Williams has his match end in DQ or countout, he'll keep his belt, even if he's the loser. That's very true. For Baron Corbin to win the gold, he's actually got to pin Williams or make him tap out. Also true. So what happens here? Cole mentions that Williams probably isn't fussed about the referee's count, because even if they get counted out, so what, he'll still be champ. Corbin needs this match to get back in the ring. Very true. So Corbin gets back in the ring. Williams doesn't. And Michael Dolt says he did that to break the count, when Williams is still being counted out. What is this guy's deal? He's worked for WWE since the 90s. Anyways, that little yachty guy, he can't bump through a table properly, he can't bump properly, he can't even swing a cane properly, he sucks. Hopefully, on SmackDown, Trick Williams realizes he's dead weight and we get an angle of him bashing little Yachty up to take out his anger over losing this belt. Of course, Yachty won't be able to sell it properly, since he moves like he's stuck in mud, but oh well. Absolute joke of a match. Appalling pacing, awful structure, poor selling, abysmal character work from Corbin. Wrong guy won. Terrible commentary. I mean, what else do you want me to say? It sucked. It absolutely sucked. For a while on this channel I've talked about Williams being entertaining and cool and someone who could be a big star. I stand by that. But I could understand people wondering after what happened at SummerSlam Night 2. I really could. Up next, I never want to see women wrestle in a ladder match again. Chelsea Green won the interim women's championship. I don't mind Chelsea Green winning, that's not the problem here. Okay, Chelsea Green is funny, fans like her, I get the appeal. It's the whole underdog, he did it, I can't believe it kind of moment. After years for Green of near misses and comedy segments and jobs, and fans seem quite happy for her, so in that sense, her winning's kind of a nice moment. But the match itself, my goodness me. So, back in 2017, the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match happened. It was awful. Don't go back and watch it. Just take my word for it here. Because what they did, the women were scared to take bumps. Because wrestling to a hard-hitting level is a man's game. There, I said it. So they had all these pathetic spots where they would just kind of pick up the ladders the women were on and just move them away from the briefcase, safely. It was absolutely pathetic. So, these women here did not do that. They're completely innocent of that. What they did was show us why the women back then did do that. I think I heard about half of the match happen before it did, because Tiffany Stratton is so loud at calling spots for it. Lash Legend does not know how to not look like she's telegraphing everything she's doing. Charlotte Facelift is getting to the point where maybe she needs to look at those knees and consider retirement. And Jade Cargill. My goodness me. She might look like a star if you're into men wrestling in the women's division. But otherwise, there's nothing here. And I still don't even know the names of those two random henchwomen of hers that came out. One of them was trying to bash Chelsea Green's head into the ring mat. Now obviously I don't think she should actually bash Chelsea Green's head into the ring mat. That would be terrible. But she didn't even try to make it look convincing. There was a nice gust of wind between Chelsea Green's skull and the mat, this nice little breathing room space that you could see from a mile away. This was awful. This was poorly handled. It was dangerous. There was one or two athletic spots from Stratton that looked okay because the women actually took the time to catch her for a change, which was nice. But beyond the quick pop for Chelsea Green, that was it. And going back to the start of this video, I was harping on about Triple H and how hypocritical he was thanks to WWE Unreal. Wow! Chelsea Green brought that show into WWE's regular programming. Because in her post-match interview, she shouted out Michael Hayes, who on WWE Unreal, apparently, I haven't watched it, I think it looks like trash, but apparently he said he didn't think she'd ever be a top women's champ. Well, two things. For all those people trashing Michael Hayes, the Fabulous Freebirds are one of the best wrestling stables ever, and no one these days could ever get heat the way those guys did in the 80s. And two, he's right. She's not a women's champ. She's an interim women's champ. That means nothing. You see, normally when a wrestler's belt is still on them and they're injured, they vacate it. You know, like Batista in 2006 or John Cena in 2007. There's all these other examples. Shawn Michaels back in the 90s, he had to give up the Intercontinental belt. You know, there's all this type of stuff. These are big stars too. But they still did business the right way. They can't perform. It would be stupid to hold the belt up. They vacate it. Other guys get to be put in the title picture. It's very simple. Apparently this rule, though, it doesn't apply to women, because I distinctly remember as a kid Trish Stratus was champ for ages while hurt, which we forgave because it was Trish Stratus. But now Rhea Ripley is getting that treatment as well. We don't know when she'll be back. We don't know if she's telling the truth about this eating disorder, or if it's actually just because she had to get off the gas for a few months that she slimmed down so much. We don't know. We do know that instead of being on the shows, she goes to power slap contests to watch. And let me tell you, if you watch power slap, you really are the lowest of the low. Like that really, power slop more like that is truly pathetic. You go and watch these ugly ex-cons slap each other, that's it. You go and watch Jack Swagger get slapped by one of Jinder Mahal's lackeys. The problem here now, Chelsea Green might get a month or two of having fun as interim champ. She might get a lot of crowd support. Maybe she'll even do a good angle or feud or two. But when Rhea Ripley comes back, get ready for I'm here to get the title back I never lost. Something, because Mammy's always on top. Every single feud with this Marilyn Manson cosplayer is always, I want the title back, I never lost it. And people will tell you this is a generational talent. They'll tell you, oh no, Rhea Ripley's the next face of WWE. She's the massive star. She's a megastar. Hasn't drawn a dime. Couldn't draw flies to cow poo, but she's the next big thing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Absolute trash. The UFC has shown us the catastrophe of having interim belts. WWE is fake. It doesn't even need to worry about that kind of thing. And yet, here we are. Next up, worst match of the year. Danhausen beats Dominik Mysterio in a human monies on a pole match. Absolute peak absurdity, stupidity. Dominik Mysterio, he came out in this revolting purple cheetah spots skin-tight costume with a large black skirt. He's clearly a gender bender. He's clearly pushing the puberty blockers to kids. Angle, the agenda of it all, based on his attire here. Hermaphrodite dumb, androgynous dumb. There's looking silly, and then there's that. Mysterio sucks. He's bland. He doesn't look good. He's not convincing in anything he does in the ring. But because he was booked heavily for cheap heat, fans pretend he's WWE's answer to MJF. Or heel Enzo Amore when that was a thing in WWE. But no. He's just a mullet sporting Nepo project. And clearly Triple Nose of all people has realised it, because he buried him in this ridiculous comedy match. JD McBighead did an excellent moonsault. That was the one highlight of the bout. He wasn't even a competitor in it. He was then attacked by an army of Danhausen midgets while Michael Cole just furiously masturbated to them, constantly laughing, pretending this was great stuff. Thing on a pole matches were considered one of the key signs of WCW's death. Vince Russo booked them every single week. And if WWE are going to continue being this way, then I hope this pole match was a sign of their destruction coming right up. Anyways, I don't even want to talk about any of the other action in this match. Dominik Mysterio, he was on the top rope to grab the bag of money, and then Danhausen cursed the ring post. Some fireworks went off, and Dominik clumsily climbed down the ropes back into the mat, and we were meant to believe he'd been knocked off by the fireworks. It's great. Oh, and I guess I should mention, during the match, because J.D. McDonough interfered, Job Hendry came out. Say his name, and he's a queer. It was just... It was bad. That's what it was. It was even worse than that live music performance Job Hendry and Danhausen did on Raw this past week. Shocking stuff. Anyway, Chad Gable finally won a singles title next, over Penta, as a babyface after that whole story of him being out to destroy masked men as a heel. But it's fine, because Chad Gable's a good wrestler. And the match itself was good, because Chad Gable and Penta actually know how to put a match together, which is always nice, always handy when two people can do that. Gable looked to ground Penta's high-flying offense and get that ankle lock slap done. Penta, meanwhile, was looking to use his explosive, dangerous offense to take Gable down. Logical story of two very different wrestlers trying to one-up each other. Nice moment with Gable winning. Fans were happy. All good. And then a random bottle of root beer came into the ring to celebrate with him. I could have forgiven this if the root beer jumped Chad Gable and pulled off its mask to reveal it was wearing an El Grande Americano mask underneath. It's Ludwig Kaiser, he's back. The feud's continuing. But no, it was just to advertise root beer. That was it. So Gable's first singles title win in WWE, in a career that Michael Cole called storied, even though Gable's never won a singles title until now. That whole big moment was ultimately to advertise soda to destroy your teeth and give you type 2 diabetes. Brilliant! Cheers for that, WWE. Real nice. And finally, the main event. Oh my, alright. Roman Reigns, World Heavyweight Champion, defends against Zest Fruity Rollins. Everything in this match was just callbacks to the Shield. And Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, whatever, obviously wasn't around for this matchup, so they did little homages to him, like his terrible Mick Foley DDT finisher and his terrible rebound off the ropes clothesline. Seth Rollins is showing more scalp than hair at this point. I presume he'll be taking a break to go to Turkey quite soon. Look, the match, it was not bad, alright? Anyone saying it's terrible would be very unfair. That would just be WWE hating for nothing. Rollins and Reigns know how to wrestle, and they certainly know how to wrestle each other after all these years. But this desperate need to present this match as cinema and an instant classic just made it feel a bit bloated and full of itself. There were some cool spots when they did the dueling announcer's table power bombs. That was neat. And then, of course, it happened. So we had a ref bump the night before in Punk and Rhodes. We have it again here in Reigns and Rollins. The ref's down. Reigns gets the steel chair. He's finally going to reenact hitting someone with it, like how Rollins hit him for the Shield betrayal, all the way back in 2014. Apparently, we're all just forgetting Reigns already did this at WrestleMania 40, but anyway, he's got the chair. Rollins is standing up. His back is turned to Reigns. He sees on the screen what's happening. He knows Reigns has the chair, and he's like, "Come on, do it!" Ha 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 ha. And obviously saying, "Come on, do it," while having his back turned to a man and his bottom pressed out is something Rollins is very used to doing. But anyways, Reigns throws the chair down. He's finally ready to move on from that time Rollins hurt his feelings in 2014. He wins the match. There's a weird moment where he seemingly dodges a curb stomp, but only just by rolling around, and then Rollins hits it straight after, so maybe that was a missed time and he was just meant to get hit by the stomp the first time. But anyways, Rollins gets too full of himself. He goes for the top rope stomp, even with his bum knees. Reigns makes the hero's comeback. He winds up obliterating Rollins with a bunch of spears for the win. Alright. One of the better matches of this whole weekend, probably the best one. Afterwards, now they've done a good job of making clear that Reigns has never forgiven Rollins for what he did. They've made clear that Rollins is fuming about always being in the shadow of Roman Reigns. We have very clear-cut reasons why these two men hate each other. And we've been pointed out time and again that they used to be friends. So when Reigns offers him the fist bump to show that he's ready to put this feud to rest and respect and befriend Rollins once again, all we really need is Rollins to get up, do the fist bump, they have the nice moment, and the feud's over. That is basically what happened, but for some reason Rollins had a surprise Dean Ambrose Shield mask to throw on the floor for when they did it. This didn't need to be about Ambrose. You can make a cheeky reference to him because of the whole Shield thing, but this was meant to be about Reigns and Rollins. Once again, WWE's obsession with AEW wrestlers rears its ugly head. It's a very strange time where the big company is obsessed with the minor one. Not normally how it works. But anyways, that was the end of SummerSlam. So obviously Roman Reigns has two very clear-cut opponents for the future. He's got LA Knight, which they've been hinting at for ages, and he has Solo Sikoa. Those feuds are been there, done that, but now they've got a fresh coat of paint because everyone's characters are a bit different. Ultimately, though, two-night formats. It's getting a bit much. Tickets for these shows weren't very good. You can see why. Because not only are the builds not great, not only are the lack of new stars quite glaring, but it's clear this promotion has become a money-hungry pit. The capitalist equivalent of the Sarlacc from Return of the Jedi, constantly fleecing you for increasingly low-effort shows, brimming, overflowing, diarrheaing with commercials. Just this general sense, to be honest with you, that WWE were throwing every leftover storyline and gimmick into a blender for this big party of the summer nonsense. It's a sad state of affairs for a company that was, at least for a long time, a true juggernaut in the world of wrestling entertainment.